Pas de soleil, pas de soleil, pas de soleil.
Hello, and welcome to today's podcast. Now, today we're going to be talking about relationships and if you need them, if you don't need them, how you even think about all of that. Now, I have my coffee, I had a tea, I had another coffee, and I had so much food. I'm a little full, but here we go. I'm ready to talk. I have all the energy in the world, and it's early morning, which I don't usually actually do this in a very early morning, but here we go. Now, relationships. We do not need a relationship. And what do I really mean by that? That's right. If you heard me say you don't need a relationship, I'm just telling it to you one more time. You do not need a relationship. Now, I learned this actually kind of the hard way and the easy way, but I found myself always being not in a relationship, but really always seeing someone. I wasn't alone per se, but I wasn't committed either. Now, the problem with always doing this, and they call this monkey branching or whatever they do, is that when you are in a relationship, you don't really get to discover who you are. You don't learn as much about you as you would perhaps if you were alone and single, and every decision that you can make could be your own. Now, a lot of us especially get into relationships because we don't like to be lonely. We don't like to be alone. And that is the worst thing to do, especially since we're always told to couple up. And Christmas kind of sucks if you don't have a girlfriend or a boyfriend. So does Thanksgiving. So does Halloween a little bit because then you're going to hook up. Or New Year's. Oh my gosh, I hate New Year's, especially when you're not a couple. However, I found the majority of my Valentine's Day to be more fun when I'm hanging out with my girlfriends than even my boyfriend. I remember one time my boyfriend at that time wanted to spend Valentine's Day with me, but all the girls were getting together and he thought, wow, we're having so much fun. In the back of my mind, the whole time I was thinking, oh my God, I wonder what those girls are up to. I wonder what they're doing because I so badly want to be with them. They were having a blast and here we were having this romantic couples night. Don't tell him that I thought that though. Anyways, being in a relationship is okay, but really, it is not what you need. What you need is the relationship. You need the relationship, the ultimate relationship, the relationship which brings you to the next level and will bring the other person to the next level too. Now, our relationship is pretty much what I've been doing. I've been dating, I've been seeing people, but I haven't found the relationship. In fact, I can say that I wasn't even looking for the relationship, the ultimate relationship. I didn't think it really existed, and I think I was just really going around trying to find out who I am, stringing some guys along, and then when I found out they were getting too invested or I was actually about to break their hearts, I said, oops, I did it again. I played with your heart. Time for me to go. I'm really not that innocent. But here we go. When we're dating to be not lonely, which is maybe what I've been doing because I don't like being lonely, we have a problem because ultimately at the end of the day, you're going to be lonely all over again. If you've been doing what I've been doing, which is you date for 2 weeks, you date for another 2 weeks, you date for 5 months, you never put a title on it, or the fact when you're dating multiple people at the same time, you're even more lonely than not because half the time they don't know about each other. You're always hiding something. Or when the 2 weeks are up, guess what? You're back to square one all over again. When you're dating to not be lonely, it doesn't really help you. It doesn't really help anyone else. You have to be comfortable in your loneliness. You have to be comfortable in your loneliness. And that's something that I don't really like to do. And it's something that I hate. I hate being alone. But here we go. Second one. It's when you're dating because you're the only single one. Now, I've had this happen where my friends are not single anymore. In fact, they found great boyfriends, blah, 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 or they found their girlfriend and now they're all going out on couple dates and I'm the only one who's not invited. Thank you, friends. Bad friends. Anyways, that is so not fun. It is so not cool. I hated it. But it is what it is. And when people end up becoming into couples and stuff, you'll notice that they're going to go out on couple dates. They're going to do things as couples. And if you have a jealous girlfriend or an insecure girlfriend, chances are she might not actually invite you out. And in my case, I didn't even get to meet my girlfriend's boyfriend of 4 years. So that's a whole nother story. But when you're dating to not be the only single one, you run into the issue of uncompromising. You do not want to compromise. Compromising is not something that you want to do. You don't want to settle for something that you are not 100% fulfilled and happy in. A lot of us out there are compromising. We're looking just for a human being. Like, literally by this point, you might as well just go get a doll. Why are we not mimicking Japan? You do not need to compromise what you want, and you don't need to date just because you're the only single one. We're all gonna go through divorces, maybe. We're all gonna go through moments of being alone. And end of the day, you're born alone in this world. You're gonna die alone in this world. And there are gonna be moments in your time where you are going to be alone. So when I say that you don't need a relationship, I mean, you don't need the relationship where you're grabbing on to something because you do not know what the relationship is, who that person would be. And you're really just compromising and being happy with what you got because you really do not think that you can do any better. The third one being is that don't pick someone because you think it's the best that you can do. Now, this happens to a lot of men. At one point in your life, you're going to get a bougie girlfriend or a girl, the hot girl, the girl that your buddies are like, damn, she is so hot. There's no way she can settle or be with you, man. You know what? Sometimes it may be true. Other times, it's really you compromising. Don't pick someone because you think it's the best that you can do or it's the best that you have found so far. Don't pick someone because they check off the boxes on a checklist that your friends approve for you or that the world is approving for you. What you need in life may be very different from what other people think you need. And by this I mean, when I was dating someone, for the longest time I told them, we aren't a couple, we aren't in a relationship. I know we're acting like one, but we're not. No, we are not in a relationship. I am not your girlfriend. I do not want to meet your family. But I know we're kind of acting like one. And the whole time, he was convinced that we were in a relationship, and his friends kept telling him, she is not that into you, like, don't think too highly of it, don't think too seriously into it. And part of me kept telling that to him too, that I'm just not ready, but he clinged on to me, and everyone told me that he's clinging on to me because I am the best that he can do, and he knows it, and I know it, and he kind of brought out a few times, and because of that, he was treating it like a relationship because he wanted it to work so badly, even though I was not really truly invested at all the whole time. I was there to have a good time. I was there to learn about me. I was there to help him go through whatever he wanted to go through, but I was not there to be his life partner. Now, that's so important for you to know the distinction between the relationship and someone who wants to be your life partner versus a person who's going to be a moment in your life there to help you have a good time. You're going through things together, but they're ultimately not going to be the one for you. And one of the last ones is that you really have to love you and let the person love you. The more you love you, the more you're going to realize you don't really need a relationship. Having that bubble bath alone might be more fun than having it with someone else. Going on a trip alone may actually be more enjoyable than having another person dragging you along to things that you do not want to do. He likes fishing, you don't like fishing. You don't have to go fishing, honey. If you're in Paris or if you're going to go to Mexico, you don't have to go fishing if he is not there. Doing things alone or with your girlfriends or with your men, it can be so much more fun than doing it even with a partner, especially if you two have your differences. So keep that in mind, that if you love you and if you're having fun being on your own, which I do all the time, then you can actually manage to enjoy things and you can manage to be happy in your #loneliness. And the very, very last one is that, and this is what I say all the time, it is better to be alone than to be with someone and feel lonely all the time. It is better to be alone than to be with someone and feel lonely all the time. I've had this before in my life where I've dated and I was in these relationships, but I never felt the person truly understood me or I can really be myself. And that is very lonely. Who wants to be with someone when you can't really be you? It sucked. It sucked so badly, but ultimately it stayed for too long. And I advise you that if you are with someone and if you just do not feel that you are really fulfilled, and if you feel that at some deep level you're still alone and you can't bring out your true self with them, then it is better to be alone than to be with someone and feel lonely. I learned this the hard way. But the quicker you cut that tie and the quicker you get to being alone, you realize that you actually feel more fulfilled, you're more happy, and you're more whole as a human being. Tell me your thoughts as always. I love talking to you all.